and welcome to the Autistic Me podcast. I am Christopher Scott Wyatt, speaking as the Autistic Me. Welcome to podcast number 38, season 4, episode 2. The most read blog on the Autistic Me discusses the research on autistics making other people uncomfortable almost instantly. Dozens of research studies replicate the finding that autistics, something about us, instantly makes other people apprehensive, uncomfortable, and anxious. A 2017 study available on nature.com found, and I quote, "Here, across 3 studies, we find that first impressions of individuals with ASD made from thin slices of real-world social behavior by typically developing observers are not only far less favorable across a range of trait judgments compared to controls, but also are associated with reduced intentions to pursue social interaction. These patterns are remarkably robust, occur within seconds, do not change with increased exposure, and persist across both child and adult age groups." When I teach business communications courses, I present students with research on the 50 millisecond rule. A large body of research finds that first impressions of anything and any person are set within 1/20th of a second. If you are lucky, you have 7 seconds to change that first impression. After those 7 seconds, changing a negative evaluation gets exponentially more difficult. It starts to take weeks or even months to undo the first impression. Meanwhile, the autistic takes significantly more time to interpret microexpressions and other cues during social interaction. We take a full second to interpret the same first meeting with someone. We take 20 times longer to analyze a social moment. 20 times. By the time we adjust our tone, gestures, or facial expression, the other person's opinions have started to solidify. Small studies, not yet replicated, suggest that autistics might require 5 minutes, yes, 5 minutes, to match the processing others do within 7 seconds. The studies find that the social cue delays exist regardless of culture. In the United States, I might not make the right eye contact. I might not have the expected firm yet pleasing vocal tone. In another culture, I might be improperly honest. I might not extend social courtesies as quickly or as smoothly as others. Autistics, no matter where they live, struggle with social cues. One theory is that many social norms don't serve a logical purpose to the autistic. I do not know if that is true, but I understand the theory. Why would I say something that isn't true or agree with a statement that makes no logical sense? When asked, "How are you?" an autistic might answer in detail, when the correct response is always, "Fine, thank you. And you?" I realize that's a lot of background. We need people to understand that autistics have a cognitive impairment that seriously reduces our opportunities for personal and professional success. When I check the analytics for the Autistic Me, every blog post in the top 3 is about the rejection of autistics in various settings: work, school, and social groups. The popularity of these posts means my experiences aren't unique. The blog traffic means other people are trying to understand why rejection and autism go together. After speaking to groups, well-meaning attendees will compliment my speaking. "Oh, you're great with people. I don't understand how you can claim you're not good in social settings." Excuse me, a speech delivered from a podium or stage is not a social situation. I know many autistic actors, musicians, dancers, and teachers. When we are on stage, we are focused on what we are doing, not individuals in the audience. That doesn't mean we don't appreciate the audience, clapping, cheering, or singing along. Appreciating the audience doesn't require reading individual micro-expressions or social cues. I receive excellent teaching evaluations from students. Yet many students comment that I seem uncomfortable meeting during office hours. They note that I'm energetic and passionate about my course topics, but quiet and even distant one-on-one. Students have observed that I seem more comfortable in the structured setting of the classroom with rules for speaking and listening. Job interviews and workplaces are barriers to a career for me, even in teaching. Not being able to read people quickly and instinctively, I have read a lot of books on body language and microexpressions. I listen closely, watch movements, and try to analyze people as they speak. When I'm speaking, it's harder to multitask, though I try my best to read the audience, whether it's one person or a room of students. The analyses I need to perform slow me down, leading to gaps in talking over people. That's a common problem for autistics. The delays, even a half-second delay, disturbs people according to research findings. They wonder if I am engaged or if I am formulating some special response. Autistics are often mistakenly accused of calculating their answers in the negative sense. We are calculating, but not for any devious purposes. We're trying to determine what is expected of us during an interpersonal conversation. Our challenges are not limited to coding and decoding communication. I have been told my movements make others feel threatened. My arms might move, my feet might tap, I might rock slightly while speaking or listening. Add in my palsy and other medical challenges, and my autistic awkwardness has led to some devastating misunderstandings. My expressions and tone don't always match what I'm feeling or trying to convey either. I've been told to smile when I was sure I was smiling. That might be the autistic traits, or it could be the result of some injuries. It doesn't matter. People want to see smiles. Yeah. I do get agitated when people tell me to calm down when I'm shaking. I get defensive when I'm repeatedly told to smile. After enough badgering, I will say, I have a medical condition, and I am doing my best not to distract you. Getting annoyed with people doesn't help build relationships, but I also get tired of trying to self-advocate for tolerance. I gave up on being accepted. I'll settle for being tolerated. Autistics lack impulse control. Our executive function challenges the inability to pause and think before acting, leads us to say what is best unsaid in workplaces. Like other autistics, I am passionate about my areas of interest and expertise. Sometimes these overlap, sometimes they don't. I know I sound passionate when lecturing on the topics I love. That works well in a classroom. That's bad technique one-on-one. I don't know when to stop a conversation. I don't know when to walk away. I can overload people with the pace of my thoughts. My impulse to respond to questions or statements honestly and as accurately as possible also causes discomfort for others. My answers get too detailed, too complex, or, especially in academic settings, too challenging. Within the humanities, I am a philosophical outsider. I do not like the pressure to present ideas or beliefs I do not share. When told we must respect other cultures, I struggle to see why I should accept values and beliefs I consider misogynistic, homophobic, ableist, or otherwise discriminatory. Empathy is a problem for autistics. We don't lack empathy. We're compelled to act and speak out because our emotions are so strong. The HR training I had to complete this summer included reminders to respect other cultures' views on arranged marriage, genital modification, and sexual identity. No. I'm sorry, but it is called genital mutilation. And stoning people for being gay is not just a cultural difference. It's backwards. And I tend to say so. Isolating the disabled is cruel and inhumane. Ironically, these same universities have clear positions on how our culture should be. You're being ethnocentric, I was told. I've recently been accused of being a moral colonialist. But whatever. Wrong is wrong. If you can tolerate abuses in other cultures, shut up about supporting marginalized groups. I'm sorry. Speaking out of turn is what I do. I cannot sit through a presentation or training session about tolerating intolerance and not feel emotionally drained. I had students refuse to read a text by a transgender economist. It was not a text about gender identity or sexuality. It was a text on how to properly format research papers. These international students were offended by the author's identity. I said that I found that troubling. I told them to ignore the author and focus on the ideas. That was apparently not sensitive of me. I wasn't promoting any agenda other than writing precisely about statistical data. The autistics I know share my empathy and moral outrage when they observe abuses of other people. They aren't good at remaining silent either. It isn't just big issues like tolerance that lead me to say or write things I shouldn't express. Stupid processes, rules, and norms of a workplace or institution might bother me so much I cannot resist expressing frustration. I'm just not good at following wasteful, illogical, counterproductive procedures without asking why. Why do we do something? Why do universities use paper binders for faculty evaluations? We have computers. We have an HR system. Why do I need to print out articles and projects and place those in the 3-ring binder for a review committee? I don't get it. So I've asked, why are we stuck in the 1970s? My employment evaluations have said I'm antisocial, too serious, I'm too intense. You don't hire me to socialize, do you? Well, it turns out that's exactly why hiring committees work. They look for and hire other people they perceive as like themselves. In academia, they want someone they would socialize with, which makes sense with all the conferences and committees of universities. Everything about academic success seems to be based on social networks. Workplaces favor extroverts, and I'm not an extrovert. I don't want to attend faculty lunches or parties. Conferences seem strange to me when we can email papers and chat virtually. I don't like large gatherings, so conferences are gigantic, inaccessible, disability-unfriendly nightmares. I'm fine in front of a class. I'm fine working in my office at a computer. But I fail at work if I have to interact face-to-face or verbally with people. Failure is the best description for what I have experienced. Anticipating making others uncomfortable, I avoid meeting new people. I don't want to engage in conversations I know might push other people away. My wife is my only close face-to-face friend. She's it. No other person I spend much time with, even outside this pandemic-imposed sheltering in place. There's no one else. I exhaust people, and they exhaust me. It's frustrating. This school year seems to be going well. My freelance writing work has been steady since 2006. What does this school year share with my freelance writing? Everything is done online. I don't have to navigate small talk, the office setting, or interpersonal conversations. Delays in coding and decoding don't matter with email. Chats, by their nature, involve short delays too. I can carefully consider what is meant by students or my editor. I can respond after reflecting on how to best express myself. I love writing because writing is a safe interaction, safer than face-to-face encounters. At the age of 51, I'm not going to magically stop making others uneasy or anxious. My life supports the data of researchers. I am the autistic me, and that includes struggling with social skills. That means accepting I don't have and will not have a career in a traditional workplace. I wish I didn't make others uncomfortable, but that is the autistic me. I am Christopher Scott Wyatt. Thank you for listening. And remember that we are on Facebook. My wife and I monitor the Autistic Me on Facebook and at Autistic Me on Twitter. Of course, we have the Autistic Me blog, which is easy to find using Google or Bing.